All right, welcome everybody. Mil Spec Ops Monkey. It's about 11:45 Central Standard Time on Saturday, March 6th. Just bringing you guys a quick sit rep. I do want to apologize for not doing one yesterday. I had a crisis, and I had to put down my 12-year-old boxer, and so we were at the emergency vet all day, and so doing a sit rep really wasn't a priority. So. But that said, I want to get one out today just because there's some additional disinformation going on out there that I wanted to talk about so that we get everybody kind of re-level set. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. And so you guys see we're going to look at the active TFRs for today. And got some interesting ones, to say the least. Now, this one right here, okay, so we've got the normal, that's the brown zone, right? That's over the senior center. And evidently, Biden has gone to his residence this weekend. I guess they are installing the clappers at the White House. And so he has to vacate in order to them to get the acoustics right for the clapper. So, but that said, I'm obviously joking, but we do have a TFR down off the coast of Miami, which is interesting. We had one over the Keys last week, and we have one active here. Now, keep in mind, this East Coast, we're not seeing it today, but throughout the week, we've been watching multitude of P3s and P8s, which are sub hunters, going up and down the coast, as well as several of the other electronic suites like the B703s and things like that were mapping this out. Now, we thought it was related to a CPAC event in Orlando, but it continued prior to and afterwards, so I don't know that it was related. But looks like we got some weather moving through right now, and I don't see anything actually off the coast, at least not showing. Okay, but this TFR is, let me just pull that up real fast. The security TFR up to 1,000 feet, so 0 to 1,000, and like I said, it's kind of unusual. I don't see them very often. Now, we did have just north of this space TFR last week, we had an incident where they were testing some type of a water detonation against one of the ships that at night that a lot of people were talking about. So supposedly a water detonation against a ship. So we'll see what happens. But the Navy was saying they were doing something off the coast here, which I find kind of ironic, the fact that they've been running P3s and P8s all up and down this area. And then all of a sudden we have a detonation, and then here it is. I don't see any activity today. And so we did see some continue, though. It was up yesterday. So maybe they were checking to see if they got it. I don't know, but definitely something was going on along this coast right here. So, all right. That said, just kind of go around the country. We've got some standard. These are normal. These TFRs were already in place. This looks, this one over Phoenix, I believe, is an air show. This one over Southern California is still right there, border stuff. This is Disney, and then one of the bases, that's Beale Air Force Base over here. And then in the middle of the state, I think these are hazards, TFRs for hazards, and that is the Biden TFR. Again, massive. I don't know why it's so large, because, again, if you look at Bush here in Dallas, that's his little TFR right there over his residence, and that still covers miles. So, anyway, okay, so there you have that. Now, one thing I did want to touch on real fast is some of the ash and the earthquake activities. We get out here to the South Pacific and the Solomons and stuff. This is just a hot mess. Now, guys, like I said before, Dutch Sense is the earthquake guy. I'm not that. I'm just showing it because it is on my radar, and it's a this is also relates to ash content, right? So you've got volcanic activity out here as well with Cinnabung, and you also have Etna in Italy going right now, and so that will impact. Just to show you guys what the ash looks like when it gets into the sky, it is massive. And so my understanding is that Cinnabug right now is putting ash all the way up to 40,000 feet, and so an aircraft flying into that is a major no-no, right? Because those ash particles, one, they're heated, but two, they are like little beads of glass, and it's like sandblasting an engine. And so an aircraft engine, taking in all of that sand, it will just eat up an engine, and you can actually have it shell out an engine. You can have it cause a flame out where the engine's actually shut down, seize up. There's all kinds of different things that can happen, but it's definitely not a good situation for an aircraft. And so they avoid that like the plague, and that stuff gets up in the upper atmosphere, and you'll see them shut down air travel for certain regions because, can you imagine hitting an ash cloud like that at night? It would be brutal. Okay. And so we've got all that activity going, but look at the earthquakes going on out here. This is insane. And some of these earthquakes are like 8.2 magnitude aftershocks. So there's something definitely going on. So if you want to learn on the earthquake stuff and you don't follow Dutch Sense, that guy's your go-to. So go check him out because he will fill you in on how this all works and where the path is and what to expect. And the dude's genius. So good guy to follow, and just in general. And so you see we've got a lot of storm activity out here. So things are going to heat up as we get into this month. I mean, we're just getting started in early March, and things are already heating up. So if this is any signal what's going to be hurricane season this year out here on our coast, I think it's going to probably be pretty hot. So we'll see. All right, so that's aviation. That's going to be your TFRs for now, and we will continue to monitor that stuff and watch the ASH reports. But all right, so let's get over to the map real fast. I do want to show something and share it with you because as you guys know, there's always been this talk and speculation about how we're using these P8s and P3s to actually do some ground-based radar stuff to look at underground activity. And so I want to show you, we just had, in the last 2 days, we had this operation, Volunteer Strong, that took place in Tennessee, okay? And so today, instead of seeing this P8 down off the East Coast looking for subs, we have it up here in Tennessee, and it looks like it's actually exiting Tennessee, but you can see it was out here running some patterns. And so I'm not really sure if that is related, if they're still continuing the operation and looking for additional things. But, these people are sick. And so any tools that we can use to help flush this activity out, I think, is definitely good. So that may be why we're seeing this up here. May not be. I may be completely off base. But just want to point that out, okay? All right, so looks like for a Saturday, it is pretty quiet. We are sitting at 106 aircraft up across the U.S. This right here, we're going to take a look at this aircraft. Now, this one, I'm pretty confident is going to be that Burn 72. It's going to be one of your white. That's one of your Terra aircraft, the TERRA. These are used typically by like national incident response teams, okay? And so that aircraft. Looks like they're headed to Hawaii for some sunshine, and let's see if it may actually head out to the South Pacific if we've got all that earthquake activity going on too. So, but there's that, and a lot of tankers up, which tells me we've got a lot of fighter activity. We've got an E6 that's over central. That's Looking Glass. That's over central U.S. That's kind of a normal for them. And, not anything out of the norm, should I say. I only see one Looking Glass up right now, but let's go here to the types while I'm talking to you guys. I have quite a few C-17s up, so it looks like we've got some transport stuff happening. Another one here that's coming out of the East Coast. All right. And you got an inbound C5 coming from over at the drink. Now, I will tell you, looking at the aircraft activity, we have, let's see, we got two for here. So these, okay, some air refueling going on. So a lot of fighter activity off the East Coast. We've been seeing actually an increase in fighter activity lately. I will tell you, we're also seeing a little more activity down here on the border, Texas border. Okay, and so I'll show you that in a minute because we've got some new Kalita activity going on as well, which is let me hit persistence so I don't lose that aircraft if we decide to come back to it. Okay, but let's go look at Europe and the Middle East. By the way, I do want to thank one of the guys that was following me. I didn't figure this out, and you'd think I would have, but all of these names, they were all in their original language, and I was trying to figure out where we were on the map. My geography is definitely not smarter than a fifth grader, and so although I do know a lot of this stuff, when you're looking at it in Greek, or not Greek, but it's original language, it's kind of hard to decipher sometimes, and you can be wrong. So this guy turned me on to having the right settings, so now we can actually see where these aircraft are related to country-specific activity. So, okay, so it looks like we've got some Airbus. That's a French Airbus headed southeast. We are seeing a definite increase in activity. Looks like they're coming out of Cyprus. This is going to be the UK heading in and out of Qatar and that general area, and we've getting a lot of. There's obviously some fighters out here. Pretty heavy fighter activity. We've seen a lot of tankers up over this region, and so I would imagine we've got definitely eyes in the sky fighter-wise, and drones and a lot of other activity going on right now. So, but that is earlier, or actually late yesterday, we had a sea of C-17 activity. So I saw what looks to continue to be these C-17s coming in and out of the area. It looks like one has just gassed up and is getting ready to head back across the drink. So I would imagine they are putting in probably MEADS or THAAD systems, which are the missile air defense stuff down here in Saudi and in Iraq as it relates to our base to prevent further strikes. So, okay. That said, let's go take a quick look at the Sniffer. Just to show you guys, and then we're gonna round robin on this Switzerland thing, because I want to get you guys in on that here before we leave. Okay, and so now we're just gonna take a look at the Sniffer and the Sniffer activity, and this thing has actually been a little more active lately. It looks like on the 2nd, it was here, Camp Springs, Maryland, so it was in the brown zone doing some. You can see these altitude changes. Those not familiar with the Sniffer, it's a Department of Energy helicopter that actually does air quality samples. Okay, and so on the 2nd, it was doing some activity around the brown zone. Looks like it also continued on out of the brown zone over to Newport News, where it has gone several times. Now, these areas, as we have talked about in the past, these little inlets coming in and out off the Atlantic, we've watched a lot of helo activity in the last 2 years or so, where they've been really looking closely at stuff coming through here. And we kind of suspected that maybe it was Club Ks or they were looking for something. But when they're looking for things in here, that does kind of indicate, especially when this thing's smelling for nukes. Okay, so think sum of all fears, right? And so, they come in through the ports and the waterways, and then they just park either a Club K or some type of a nuke right here, or they get in all the way to right here. Okay, and then they detonate, and if you get a big enough nuclear or a dirty bomb or something, the way the jet stream carries things across the Northeast, you could detonate something in here and certainly impact all of Washington, D.C., all the way up the coast, maybe even into New York and that area. So definitely not an area you want to be just, flying blind and not looking for stuff. So, but anyway, this thing flew yesterday, landed about a day ago, and it was coming back to the brown zone from Newport News. So, all right. So there is that. That is our Sniffer. Let's head over to the spa. We did have a new flight come in. Now, this is a Amerijet, and haven't seen that one come in before. This is coming out of Charleston. My guess is that's a troop rotation. And so it looked like it just round robined. It came in, probably dropped some troops. It's a 767-300, and then it rolled back. This LJ-45 is that's just a standard contractor run. So, but this is Amerijet, and for you guys, if you're not familiar with them, just kind of give you an idea what the aircraft looks like. But that's Amerijet, right? So it's a 767. Now, when you're looking at the aircraft and you don't see any windows in here, then that's an indicator that they're bringing cargo in. Okay, so that could have been a Charleston run in place of one of the Reach C-17s. They may have just contracted out. And so now they will put troops on there without windows, but But typically, no windows is going to be a cargo aircraft, okay? And so that was probably just a cargo run or a troop rotation, okay? And so that is the SPA, Guantanamo Bay. And like I said, everything else right now looks to be just kind of maintaining the norm, okay? Okay, and so now we're going to just go take a look at our Maxwell bird N312FU, which looks like it's back at home base. My guess, it's been there for about 3 weeks, so it's probably undergoing maintenance at this point. So probably a heavy check because that thing was doing a lot of flying. So there is that. And now let's go look at 331CK. And one of the things that I want to just point out real fast is it has broken the cycle. It was, if you guys remember, this aircraft, this is a Kalita, this is an agency bird, and it was kind of flying back and forth between that location. But on March 4th, it broke away from that, and it went up to Willow Run, which, that's up in Detroit, over to Brownsville. So it's been from Miami to Brownsville, Brownsville up to Willow Run back down to El Paso, Texas. And now all of a sudden it is doing a lot of legwork down El Paso, Oakland back to El Paso. Now, I don't know what it's doing, but I will tell you those locations where this thing is heading to are definitely going to be border related. And I wouldn't be surprised if, as you guys know, Oakland has certainly got a lot of prisons and, that are notorious for gang activity and holding gangs, okay? And so it is quite plausible, but that aircraft is being used for a prison bird, bringing people back and maybe even getting them into here and going south, okay, exporting them. So, again, don't have anything solid on that, but just going to the cities that it's traveling to and coming to a border town, quite possible, because of the cartels that are embedded in these prison systems, and they may be actually getting people out of the country. So, which is a good sign. So anyway, we'll keep our eye on that and see where this plane goes. But it looks like they have refocused their efforts and headed over to the Texas border side. So, all right. Now that said, what I will do going forward, as now that we know that this aircraft has kind of bounced out into the Texas side, I'll start looking at these Homeland Security birds related to Texas and see if there's any type of support structure or other activity going on around those flights or those areas, okay? And maybe we can start kind of mapping some things out to see there may be an operation going on that is putting the bad guys out. I don't buy it, but we'll go with it for now, all right? Okay, so now what I want to talk to you is about this whole Switzerland thing, okay? I want to tell you guys, please be careful who you follow, okay? And I say that because there is some disinformation going around, and there are people that have a lot of followers that are pumping this disinformation out there. And I can tell you straight up, if Trump had flown to Switzerland on Air Force One or anything else, I would have reported on that straight up front, okay? The fact that I didn't report on it, I went and did the research. And so what it was, this is 2018 footage that somebody has reposted and showing as a current activity going on. They're saying that he left the CPAC and went to Switzerland, and then the video footage is, Marine One coming in from the airport in Switzerland into Davos for that giant conference. And it's, again, 2018, and the Air Force One photo footage is also from 2018. So just so you guys know, that is definitely misinformation, and so don't take the bait. And so, as a Christian, I will tell you that I am going to do everything I can to make sure that anything that I share is truthful, okay? May not be what you want to hear, but at the end of the day, I want you to be properly informed, and I don't want you being misled and having false hope, okay? All right, folks, so that's all I have for today. I will be back on Sunday night. We're going to be doing a show on Patreon called The Watchman Hour. It's a new platform. We're going to be looking at biblical content. We're going to be looking at the Bible and doing Bible studies and things that are going on in the world as it relates to Bible news and things of that nature. So it's going to be a pretty exciting show. And that'll be Sundays at 7 p.m. It'll go on Patreon live, and then and that's 7 p.m. Central. And then I will post it on YouTube after that. So also, I will continue on with the SITREPs. So you guys will see these on YouTube. That will go on Tuesdays and Fridays. And then, of course, my Monkey Minute on Wednesdays. So, all right, folks, that's it. God bless. Monkey out.